Well, I got a song I want you to hear right now.
Is my heart in your hand? So if I can't have you forever, I don't want to start.
That song is called Heart in Your Hand by the band Wounded Spirit. It's not just any band, it's a band of injured service members who play for fellow wounded warriors and others across this great land of ours. The band was started by my guest, Paul de la Cerda. Paul suffered a traumatic brain injury when a bomb exploded near his vehicle in 2005. Now the Wounded Warrior Project's helping him and his bandmates kickstart a career in music. And Paul is now with me from Houston. Paul, thank you again so much for your service for our country.
Thank you.
And Paul, you have found music to be so therapeutic for you. Could you explain why music has been so helpful to you?
Well, you know, after returning from Iraq, you know, I had a traumatic brain injury. Didn't start actually appearing in symptoms until maybe a few months later. And then I got checked out by the doctors, and then eventually they told me, well, look, man, you got other injuries that you sustained also from being a paratrooper for 15 years. And I'm like, okay, so what's that mean for me? I was like, well, you might not be able to play drums and certain other things you might not be able to do. And music has been my driving force my whole life, and now it's like I might not be able to do it anymore. So when I went to a Wounded Warrior Project alumni event, I was able to have an opportunity. Well, actually, I was kind of forced into it in a way by Steve Nardizzi to, like, hey, man, get up on stage and let's play some drums for a talent show. So I played these drums, and then my buddy got up there and played a guitar with a prosthesis, played the Star Spangled Banner. The most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. We started talking about Wounded Warrior bands, and we're like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this. So a few months later, there it is, man. I made the Wounded Warrior band, Warrior Spirit, as a matter of fact, the name of the band. And, you know, we do things for other wounded warriors, and it's been a driving force my whole life, and I'm not going to quit doing it, and I'm going to see if other guys can do the same thing and overcome their disability.
So, Paul, when this first came up, that you were going to continue to be able to play music, I'm gathering by what you said, you were like, yeah, really, who's dreaming here? But it's a dream come true for you.
Yes, it has been. Not just for me, but my singer, Levon, did you hear on there on the track right now? I mean, he's a phenomenal singer. He's got PTSD as well and traumatic brain injury like I do. He served in Iraq with my younger brother, as a matter of fact, which really kind of, it was an ironic thing that they were both deployed and both in the same unit. And so, you know, and then I got King Burton, which, by the way, is a Vietnam veteran, which I never thought I'd have in a band, but we all combat wounded veterans. And it's all given us something to push and look forward to. And it's become a dream come true to be able to play for other guys such as ourselves on a bigger platform at other places. And it's just been great, you know. And we're also the only nonprofit Wounded Warrior band in the U.S. We're not in it for the money. We're in it for the mission.
Well, there's nothing wrong with making money. I mean, you know, you're doing what you love, and if it ends up being something that you change your mind and it becomes a profitable venture, more power to you. And I also think it's so great. Each of these stories we've been hearing about people who've come back from war and have found a new way for a next chapter in their lives. And this is an unusual one, but I want to congratulate you for being able to move forward now. But there's something else I want to say to you, particularly on this, the 4th of July. Paul, thank you for serving our country at a time of an all-volunteer military. What was it that motivated you and also your brother to enlist in the U.S. Armed Forces?
Well, for me, it was as a matter of necessity at one point. Also, it was because I hung around a lot of veterans, a lot of Vietnam veterans that were in my neighborhood. And it just kind of motivated me. I'm like, you know, I really would think about joining the Army. Well, I became homeless for 6 months before I went in the military, and it became a necessity. I'm like, you know what, I should go ahead and do this. I got no other direction to go. I was an artist, you know, I'm a graphic designer, so there wasn't no work out there for me. So I decided to go in. In 1995, I rose my hand, and I stayed true to my commitment for 15 years. And, you know, at one point, I thought I was going to retire, and then they told me, well, you can't stay in the Army because of your injury. And that was it. But in the middle of my tour of, I think 6 years into my tour, my brother decided to go ahead and enlist too. And he went further than that. He got out of the military and is now Houston Police Department. He works for Houston Police Department now. And he's with the Gang Task Force, or what they call a Crime Reduction Unit. And he's doing one great job out there.
Well,
so he's
Paul,
still serving.
Paul de la Cerda, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story. You keep spinning out the tunes, okay?
Yes, sir, and make sure that everybody knows that, you know, Brawny Paper Towels had donated $250,000 to Wounded Warrior Project, and if you go on their Facebook page and like their page, they'll donate an additional $1 for that like. So, you know, that helps support myself and all the other Wounded Warriors out there that are struggling like I am.
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your 4th.
And thank you very much.